You know why they're dating you? Not because of your looks, boo. Anyway, now, whether you like me, you rolled your eyes, or you agreed, or maybe you laughed, this comment hit a nerve for a lot of people. Now, let me ask you guys a question. This is for the audience because I know what we think because we are all women of a certain age. But are older women really bringing more baggage, or are they just more experienced, less tolerant of nonsense, and more focused on their what? What's the P word that I always love to talk about?
Peace.
Peace. Uh-huh. So we're going to dive into dating preferences because that's pretty much what they are. Emotional maturity, ageism, healing, and then what people really mean when they talk about baggage. So, before we get into it, we're gonna get into video, but just on the onset of this crusty ass ninja. Like, if you look at this man, he is not looking like anything that anybody wants of any age. However, when you heard the Trick Daddy said this, what was your thought, Lala?
Boy, please. Don't nobody want all that. And especially with that kind of attitude too. Listen, I'm finally stepping into my peace where we don't care. We are peaceful. We are like, if you're not a part of this vibe, then you can't get into it. I don't need no man with that kind of attitude still trying to mold and shape me, trying to tell me that I have baggage when 9 times out of 10, he's probably got about 5, 6, 7 kids his own self and got his own baggage and own things about what he thinks about women. So, I could care less what this man thinks. Obviously, he's not one for me.
Obviously. So what do you think? Tell him, sis. Clock that T. Aisha, what was your thoughts when you heard this craziness?
I thought, I'm like, that was so silly, so immature. Like, come on. Like, and I said, this dude, what are we talking about? Like, come on, how old are you?
Right.
You're talking about women of 35 years. Like, please give me a break. And I just thought, really, to me, is complete immaturity and also trauma. He has his own issues that he hasn't dealt with. He's probably one of the people that's caused problems along the way for other people, and now trying to point the finger. I'm like, come on, please. That was exactly what I said. I'm like, are you joking?
He probably got a whole trail of bodies of people that he
has destroyed along the way.
Yeah. So let's look at the video.
Maybe you and 1 or 2 other women, right? I'm not attracted to no women over 35 years old.
You're not?
No.
Well, honey, I know you are attracted to me, honey.
But y'all standards are too high. Y'all are too emotional. Y'all are damaged good from past
I am
relationships.
not damaged.
You don't even realize you're damaged, you see, because
unbelievable.
Okay, so we got too many standards. That means we don't want greasy ninjas who don't eat well, who don't take care of themselves, who's disrespectful towards Black women. Our standards are too high. I mean, what Aisha, what was your thoughts when you seen this?
When he said high standards, too high, I said, really, too high standards? You must be really from some rock somewhere that a 35-year-old woman has too much standard, because maybe she has values and she's had some experience and she knows what she wants. And then damaged goods, that stood out to me. Damaged goods? Are you serious?
Yeah.
What have you done to other women to make you think that about other women? Really think about that. What has he done to women that are young that is making him say that? Because really, it's a mirror of what you have done that you're saying.
Absolutely. What you put out, you're going to get back. What about you, Lala? What did you think when you saw this video?
Well, personally, he looks like an old, decrepit man. The first thing I thought of was the color purple. I literally did. He reminded me of the color purple. But I know men like him. I know men who say they want a younger woman because they want to mold and shape them. No, what you want is some woman to be complacent to you. So much so that I know two men who are in their 60s who never could get it together with women who were right for them, who would take care of them, who would love them just because they didn't want them to be a certain way, who literally went back in time and ordered a bride from another country. So to me, that's what that he represents that to me. If he can't get what he wants in America, he will be the ones who will go to another country and bring one in.
So is it about age or is it about control, Lala?
Control.
Mm-hmm.
It's about control. We've stepped into our power. We have our own thoughts. We actually have our own rhythms of what's going on. We've stepped into our power of knowing who we are. Thank God it took me forever to get here. But now that I'm here, I'm not going to allow anybody to disturb my peace. You can either ride with me, roll with me, or step aside. And honestly, it is power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's the same reason they didn't want to vote Kamala in. How dare a Black woman get into the office?
Exactly. The way he said it, it's you call your women damaged goods and you're saying it publicly? Like, are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's the epitome of what an immature, unhealed, raggedy ass, trifling ass man that doesn't bring value into anybody's life, whether she's 35 or 55. Trick does not bring value to anyone, because if it's about control, if it's about baggage, see what a man is somebody who builds, who pours into, who leads, who provides, who guides. A man is not somebody who wants to control somebody or says that somebody got too much baggage. Somebody said he need to check his A1C level and his cholesterol, and he need to check his prostate. Like, those are things that this man should be worried about at this point in his life, at this age in his life, rather than worrying about Black women or women in general bringing too much baggage. Is it baggage or is it experience? Is it that we're not going to take your bullshit? Like, what is it? And that's what I think it is. And I think, it's time out for all this immature talking, because that's all it is. It's just immature rambling.
Immature.
Do you think, Aisha, that because you talked about trauma, do you think that people are maybe afraid of dating healed, self-aware women because they just can't control or manipulate them?
I really believe that, because at the end of the day, you're mirroring what you know, right? Mm-hmm. And to me, I just really feel that just from the way he's talking, you can tell that he has probably had other younger women that he's probably done things to over time, and he knows what he's done to them. Mm-hmm. And then he left them. So mm-hmm. he's just repeating what he's done to those women and saying they're damaged goods because mm-hmm. of what he has done to them. Because how would you know that somebody is a damaged good if not because of what you have done in the past to such young women? Right. And then to be saying that about your own women, to me, is so despicable, because, and again, he's a man of an older age too. It's not like you're a young stud. You're some elderly man speaking about you in such a fashion, right? It just speaks a lot about what you have gone through as a man, your own trauma, your own also spread of trauma. And now saying that about everybody that you don't even know them, and you're saying that about them, that they're damaged and they have too high standards. Wow, that just says a lot about you and the man that you are.
Because his standards are really in the toilet. Obviously, his standards are in the toilet. If he doesn't want to, he said they got too many standards. Now, when Britta said, as long as he dishing out that money, he don't really have to. And so, Lala, like, as he. Can a person, or probably maybe at this stage in the game, maybe he's just not interested in real love, because it's really about, it sounds more transactional. What do you think about men who have these transactional ideals? Because you talked about you knew two men like that.
I do. And I'm going to speak from experience. I'm y'all know I keep it real, right? And so this actually happened to me as a young girl. I was 15 years old, family friend, dad who I trusted, grew up around this family, had a business, asked me to help him come do something and laid his hands on me. And I literally ran away, freaked out, because this is someone I had trusted in my life. And all he kept saying was, I'll keep you. You ain't got to tell nobody. I'll take good care of you. I ain't got to. See, this is all about, you want a harem. You want what you want when you want it with no repercussions. You knew that I was 15 years old. You're already in your 60s. What are you planning on doing, old man? You think that you could do absolutely everything to me and I will keep my mouth shut because you think to me that my morality means nothing compared to your money or your promises. So Trick Daddy ain't no better. He don't date anybody under 35, but I can pretty much guarantee you he's probably talking under 20 because that's their mindset.
Think about this though. Trick
That's their mindset.
Trick don't even look like he smell good. He look like he bloated. He look like he can't breathe. He look like he has fungus on his toenails. Like there is nothing about Trick Daddy that looks remotely interesting. Like anybody 20 to 80 would even want to come in contact with. So for this man to get on here and talk about standards, yeah, I see why. You got to lead with your money, and ain't nobody who really wants something in life or got anything in life want anything to do with you, bro. So anyway, we're going to talk more about it when we come back from this break.
It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
So listen, we are talking about Trick Daddy. He says something crazy as shit. Let me just tell y'all, just to remind y'all what this man said.
Maybe you and one or two other women, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not attracted to no women over 35 years old.
You're not?
No.
Well, honey, I know you are attracted to me, honey.
But y'all standards are too high. Y'all are too emotional. Y'all are damaged good from past relationships. I am not damaged. You don't even realize you're damaged. You see, because
he don't even seem like he could breathe real good. Like you ain't in shape. You eating up everything. He frying everything on his show. He eating up everything. His fingernails is black. Like I'm not even interested in looking his direction. But there's another video I want to take a look at. And let's talk about it. Hold on.
Whenever a man will say like a woman is washed up over 35, more than likely that those are always the men who have abused women at some point in their younger years, or who have taken advantage of women who are younger, who have manipulated women and faked their entire personality. And then when they're done using and abusing this young girl, and 10 years later, she grows up and now she's over 35, now he's calling her damaged goods when he was technically the one who contributed to her being damaged. But they don't want to mention that part of it. Like they want to leave that part out. You know, yeah, you contributed to damaging a lot of women. Because Trick Daddy, why do you think you call yourself Trick Daddy, right? So you contributed to that shit, and then you want to shame them when they get older, when they no longer take your bullshit because they've already learned not to take your bullshit. They already learned from their mistakes, so now you're considering them to be washed up. But really, what it is, oh well, I'm no longer able to take advantage of you, so now I'm not attracted to you. That's really what he really wants to say. Well, he doesn't actually want to say that, but that's really what he means. And any guy that says that a woman is washed up after 35, that's exactly what he means.
So that goes back to what you said.
Yes. Did not tell you. Did not tell you. That's exactly what it is.
Because of what he's
damaged them. You've done it. You've damaged them, and now you want to cry that you've damaged, that they're damaged. Now, this is a vicious cycle. This is something that is very commonly known in our communities, but always swept under the rug. You know, like I will be the first to tell you, coming up, I was very well endowed up here. It was always the old man with the no teeth having self, always talking about, come here, baby, let me suck on them a little bit. You know, it was never the fact that I was younger or anything like that. So, you know what? He done triggered me, Mr. Trick, because obviously he has stepped into that phase of his life where he's the one who causes the damage but yet want to cry foul when women are damaged by his behavior.
That part right there. When women, so that's exactly too what you said, Aisha. Like he the one doing the damaging.
Exactly. And you know what's funny too, though, even with what he said, it's not uncommon that men, think that they prefer a younger woman. It's not uncommon. It's not something new, but they don't talk like that, right? They don't say it like that, especially around people publicly, because it just tells you how immature he is and also what he has done. Honestly, I said, this guy Mao, he must have really damaged a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's nothing wrong if you prefer a younger woman, because naturally women marry at a younger age. In my culture, that's what they do. They marry at a younger age, but they don't marry old men. But also still, honestly, in my culture, there are still older men, like Lala is explaining, that marry younger women, but it's not in such a degrading way, talking about the other older women. They never do that. There's a difference if you prefer a younger woman, but then to denigrate them, the other ones that are older, says a lot about you, not about the women, right? So I think that is what maybe he's not catching, because again, he's immature and it really doesn't have any common sense. Because if he does have any common sense, he wouldn't even open his mouth to say anything like that, right? So it's very funny to watch it again.
Yeah, just talking stupid, because here's the thing. You two ladies are married, and I was married for a long time. I was with my ex for almost 30 years. So no, for 30 years I was married. And so at this stage in my life, at this iteration of my life, I choose peace and I choose purpose and I choose standards over being quote unquote picked. Right. And if like I always talk about this, like I'm looking outside my window and I see all this beautiful, like these woods and shit and all these trees and stuff that I'm not used to, because where I lived in California, we didn't have all that. But that right there makes me happy. It like if that brings me peace, and anything that disturbs that, I don't want nothing to do with it. But society has a way, because one of the things that, when I argue with people in the comments and I be talking shit or whatever, the first thing people will be like is, you ain't got no man. Right. And so they think that having a man is like the thing, is the goal for people who really choose, like getting a man is not hard. Anybody can get a man. That's the easiest thing in the world to do. But why do you think society looks at women like me who choose peace and purpose over being picked? Why is there such this stigma around, women of a certain age who just want peace? Lala, I'll start with you.
Well, first of all, let's be honest. It's based on stereotypical plans from God knows long before Christ even came along. It's all about power. It's all about the power struggle. I'm going to break it down a little bit in a different way. Like when us as a people didn't have the power and was forced upon us to bear babies, and our men were taken from us and sold to other plantations and things of that nature. We didn't have those structures. However, we also did recreate those structures in the likeness of the white men who did this. So you look at the church, you look at a lot of the organizations that are out there where the men are the head and the women fall right underneath the line. They following the same stereotypical patterns that they saw the white men have the power over them, and women always came in last. Even when white women and black women were fighting together in the struggle for voting, the black women got put down in a lesser what in their eyes, lesser view of you're not quite as good as us. So the fact is, we have to break those stereotypes. I'm proud to say that, my husband and I just celebrated our 30-something anniversary. Okay. Right. And I have a good man. So we have a good rhythm together. He is my partner. I am his partner. He doesn't have to exert power over me. I will submit. If I feel like we're both not agreeing on something and he is very adamant about, I think you need to listen to me on this one, Lala. Me as the wife will say, okay, we're going to ride that way. I may not agree with it, but we're going to ride that way. Vice versa. If I'm passionate. So this is all stereotypical, and it's up to us to break it down and stop following into these things. Trick Daddy just falling right into the line of that. He's not any different than a lot of men that we all know in our family. Someone said in the comments, how you know my uncle? Because baby, we got him every week.
I got an uncle like that too. Trust. So Aisha, for you, because you are like you talked about your culture and like sort of what happens inside your culture, and I know you live here and you've been here for many years. But same question to you, but just from your cultural perspective, because what country are you from?
Nigeria.
You're from Nigeria, and so a woman like me would be considered like not desirable because I'm not married. I choose peace over being picked. Like, what does that look like in your culture, and how do people value that?
Actually, that is not something that in our culture it's a big deal, right? A lot of times women when they get married, because I actually know people when they were married younger and then they're divorced, maybe they have children and they remarry, right? It is not like it's not a big deal. In my country, the age thing, oh, she's 35, it's not, none of that. We just know that naturally the man prefers a younger woman because he can control her and mold her, right? But in the same breath that a man marrying women that are 35, it doesn't matter whether with children or no children. Really, we don't have that. But today, though, with the West and all the interaction with the West, and then now younger women flashing themselves more in front of men, it makes it more available, but it's not spoke about so openly and in such a negative way about the older women. I haven't seen that, but I know that if women that are married before and then divorced, they remarry and the men marry them with their children. It's not uncommon. It's not a big deal like it is over here. And I think here is because there's so much past history of one group over the other and just really a lot of separation. So that causes that too. Whether it's ageism, whether it's your race, there's always something to make you stand out. And then the worst part is for your own cultural men to speak of it publicly.
Yes.
I don't hear other men talk about their people like that, even though it happens. It does happen in every culture, but somehow our culture, our men seem that they can do that and say that publicly about our women, our sisters, just like that, and not even care about the damage they're doing to the image of our women. It's not right. And Nigerian would never say that about a Nigerian woman. She's damaged goods. Never. Even though he doesn't want to marry her, but he won't say that. He said, oh, maybe not for me, but he won't even, it's not a conversation. But somehow he thinks he's bold by saying that. So I don't know why
how ignorant he sounds. You know what? You hit that on the head because you will never see no Filipino man talking about Filipino women.
Never.
You will never hear an Asian man talking down about Asian women. You won't hear Hispanic males talking down about Hispanic women. But a lot of times in our community, and it's unfortunate, but I will bring that back to racism and Willie Lynch and all the divisiveness that have happened in our community. The men against the women, the young against the old, the light against the dark, the field against the house. We've been constantly thrown against each other. And you even look at it now, like even, when they took the men out of the house, when we had, they wouldn't give our men jobs, but then they would, give us welfare. And in order for us to get welfare, we couldn't have men in the house. So then you have the breakdown of the Black family. All of those things have contributed to now where we are, we hearing this ignorant ass shit. But ladies and gentlemen, we got to take our power back. We got to change those conversations and we got to stop adopting these things that they don't come from us. They don't come from within because that's not who we are. That's just been what's implanted in us, in our culture. But we got to kick all that shit out. And we're going to talk more about it when we come back.
I know you're busy. You got things to do and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
You know what? C. White said allegedly Trick Daddy has some many criminal and drug charges, 2 bankruptcies. A mature woman doesn't want anything to do with him with that type of baggage. How many of y'all checking for a bloated ass man who probably got gout, diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, who cook all the time, cook fried food all the time, who got a couple of drug charges, some bankruptcies, and all of anybody signing up for that? Anybody over 35 signing up? Anybody signing up for that? I don't really think so. So that is a good point. But let's go ahead and look at this next video. This is because I keep seeing in the comments where people are talking about Kevin Samuels. So let's
are too hard. You're too demanding. You require too much. You expect too much. You give too little. And men don't want to deal with that. You know how many times I talk to men and they're like, I went out with a woman who was 37 years old and I felt like I was being interrogated. Then I went out with a woman who's 26 and we had fun. Ladies, whether you like it or not, you're not fun. You're too hard. Older women are too hard. See, what you hear a lot of older women say is, I do that because my standards. Y'all want to get out here with these younger girls because they want you for your money. Well, you want us for our money too. So older women want you for your money, younger women want you for your money. All women want you for your money.
You know, I remember when my cousins, she had some cousins that they started doing cocaine. And they were like, hey, you should do it with us because this is fun. Right? And so everybody started out as fun. Now all them motherfuckers is strung out. Shit starts out real fun. But what happens when time passes on? What do you think about the idea that young women are fun for these old ass washed up men?
You know, the fun part comes from, once again, their control. These young ones, they may not see the things that we see. We've experienced life. We've been through the trauma. We want to level out the trauma. But the fact that they think that they have never, it's their job. They have taken it up on themselves to make sure that they mold us. You're going to have fun at 26, but when you're 35, I'm going to get rid of you. You know, the whole mentality is absolutely crazy. I don't know about y'all, but I'm really tired of this versus that, them versus us, them, the expensive people, we, the cheap people. I'm tired of the verses. And this is why we can never get ahead, because it's all about mind games. And so once again, whoever, what's his name? Because I can't stand him. I never watched him anyway. He had his own problems. We all saw that come out. So it's always the ones who have the issues throwing the rocks that are the ones that have a whole closet full of garbage that they can't handle because they're too busy throwing their rocks at other people. So now, bye. I'm glad you're not here anymore. That's one less voice I have to listen to.
Ooh. So Aisha, this whole idea of, you know, women of a certain age that are interviewing men rather than just relaxing and going with the flow. Do you think there is some truth to that? Are women of a certain age, they're just more serious? They kind of want something different. Like, why do you think that women are approaching dating different than like a woman over 35 approaching dating different than a woman that's 26?
Yeah, it's funny how every time a man tries to control the situation that is supposed to be natural, that God has created, there's always problems, right? Like in this society here, when the men were removed from the homes, and then it caused a separation, right? Like you said earlier. And then also, and as the kids are growing up, whether it's women, sometimes they separate them. So that causes a lot of breakdown. And this breakdowns, now we're seeing the effect of the breakdown, whether it's here in America or in China. Somebody kept saying about China is real. Well, look at China's problem today. right? There's so many men, some that are committing suicide because even though they have whatever, the women, whatever, it doesn't matter because man always try to get in and cause problems with their rules and separation. Then this is what happens at the end. Naturally, in a family, if you have, daughters or sons, there's a time they all get married. At a certain age, it's just natural. You start your own family, you raise your family together, and the family comes together to make sure that family stays together. So then the woman doesn't have to worry about being single at 25, whatever age, because the family stays together and they work things out as a family to build legacy and generational wealth. But because man continues to bring problem and causes issues, this happens.
Yeah.
This happens. And then now you start asking yourself, well, what is the problem? Is it a hierarchy problem? No, it's not. It's man-made. We cause it to each other. And then now the men now that are separate from women because they didn't stay with their wives the way they're supposed to. Like him, he's probably has his wife and his children. He should be ashamed of himself if he was a married man with children to talk like that, right? But because he's not, so he can talk like that. So it's not even the natural process of things. So
Right.
if you had a wife and your children and your daughters and they married at the right time, nobody will have all these issues. They may exist, but it won't be an issue. Think
Yeah.
about some other culture. Don't talk about this. It is not. Have you ever heard a Jewish family talk about how, oh, you are this?
They
We
talk
know-
about building their communities and their
Build.
families.
They
Mhm.
build. Even though we know this exists, there are people who, in every culture, there's going to be a woman that maybe just never got married. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. There's some, even if it's a Jewish family or African family, there's a woman that maybe just, or a man that never found somebody that he married. And it's okay. It's not a taboo, and you keep like nipping on them and insulting them because of that. No, we just live our life peacefully. But the goal is, if we follow the natural cause of things, we won't have these man-made issues.
Right. And here's the thing, like this man out here talking about he want this young woman, her prefrontal cortex isn't even developed yet.
Not yet.
She don't know who she is. She don't know what she want. But baby, when she figures out who she is and what she wants, she ain't gonna be wanting your crusty ass. I can guarantee you that.
Guaranteed.
She ain't gonna be putting up with that silly ass bullshit. I can guarantee you that. So yeah, so what you gonna do? Just throw them away once they start getting some sense about them? You gonna throw them away and go to the next? That shit get old. So
It's
what's going to happen is he's going to end up being an old, lonely ass man with nobody, because nobody's going to put up with that once they get some sense about him, and once that money runs out. And if you file a bankruptcy, and chances are the money ain't what it used to be, homie. So, but let's look at this stat. It says 77% of Black women between 25 and 34 says they've experienced emotional manipulation in relationships. So, it's hard to have this conversation with two women who are happily married, but I'm going to ask you, Lala. So I know that you've seen the gaslighters. You have friends that you've had to advise on these very things. So I know you haven't dealt with that, but what about that speaks to emotional or manipulation that you've seen in relationships? Because a lot of people have experienced it. 77% of Black women between 25 and 34 have experienced. Why are we experiencing it on those levels?
Once again, because of the stereotypes, and we want to be like the white folk mentality. Because when you feel like you have been stripped of power, you long for that power, and you're going to get it any way that you can. If that means that you have to step over other people and call yourself putting them in their place in order for you to be where you want to be, that house cards will never stand. I've actually seen this with many of my friends, women who really do want to be married, who do want to be equally yoked, and yet the men want to be the powerhouse. I had a friend who was dating this gentleman, and he was just literally about 5 years older than her. Very sweet girl, like pretty calm, pretty laid out, successful, in what she was doing. And he told her, if we get married, I expect you to be at home. I expect you to cook my meals. I expect you to clean my clothes. I expect you ain't got to work. Well, when they did get married, and she did that because she thought she was being equally yoked with him, now all of a sudden when money came up, it was, you ain't working, you're not doing. So it's never a satisfaction point. It's always, power. And when they feel less than, they want to exert that power and put the blame on others. Now, I will have to say this too. Like, I know we're talking about trick daddy. We're talking about the ridiculousness. And yes, we are being very bashy because it's absolutely disgusting how he is implying that we have emotional baggage when honestly, we've really stepped into our power. There are good men out there. We know them. We've seen them. I've lived by them. I live with one. So it's not all men, but I have to say it is very disproportionate. I don't know very many men like my husband. You know, I really don't. And even he says a lot of his friends are like, I don't know about that.
Yo,
you know, so it's disproportionate.
You're right, because I have a lot of male friends, right? And some of them are in relationships or whatever. And I'd be like, yo, hook me up with one of your friends. They're like, I don't got no friends that I would connect you with. Aren't your friends cool? They cool with me, but so many men have told me that they don't have any friends that they think will be good men for me. And that's scary and that's sad. So why is that? What's going on, Black men? And I don't definitely want to paint us with a broad brush, but that's a very real thing of me being a single person out here. You know, when they talk about the dating pool, and of course they say it's 20 to 1, 9 to 1, whatever, 9 women to 1 man and all that stuff. But even like, okay, there's that one man, but it's like it's a lot of garbage out there. And that's scary.
And let's just say that they're also very jealous of what they see, because there have been times where I have overheard people talk about our relationship. You know, like they don't like that. They don't like that we're happy. They don't like that we have our own rhythm. And so they want to insert or talk down upon what is already working, which just goes to show you just how unhappy they are. So it goes to show you this. If you're not happy within your own life, you can't pour your shit on other people. You need to go somewhere and do some shanti before you come back into this world and decide you're going to dump your crap on everybody else. Because I'm happy in my life. I'm not happy with that type of energy. And so I don't want it around me. And nor would I ever want my nieces. And I wouldn't even want a young girl across the street that I don't really know to go through it, because we've all been through it at some point. It's not pleasant.
Yeah, amen. You know, let's look at this stat right here. The median age of first marriage in the US is now 30 for women, up from 23 in 1970. Therapy use among Black women under 40 has grown over 60% since 2020. That's something to you know, we all need therapy, and it's good that people are recognizing it, but it also speaks to maybe some of the trauma that we talked about earlier. So for you, Aisha, what does emotional maturity really look like in relationships? And do you think that it maybe scares some people off?
It probably does today, because people are like so immature. They don't have anything pressing that will keep them in the straight and, you know, and narrow path. You know, as we're talking, I'm thinking, I say, wow, it is so true that this is happening and it's pervasive. But the biggest thing for me, I think, is at the end of the day, honestly, is the lack of the village, right? There's no village that puts all the families together, so that way, when you go to your village and there's a problem, it is settled around, you know, the family. The family takes care of the problem. Growing up back home, as a young couple, because back home they get married young. In your 20s, you get married, and you have your family. But your relationship is a family relationship. It's not me and my husband. It's your family. They're all family. And there's an issue. Literally, they'll make an appointment with the family, with the elders, and they'll come and sit down and talk about what happened. This is what happened. And the role of the family is to help them resolve the problem so that they can continue their relationship. And then so they keep growing. So even though they're young, they have the elders to keep correcting and guiding them throughout the whole, process. So the maturity comes over time, because we know that at 2022, you're not completely mature. So you need time. If you look back at when you were 18, and you made some decisions when you were 23, you look and say, I shouldn't have done that, right? So that's why you have the elders around you to guide you, even as a young couple. But here, people are so individualistic. They lie to you that me, myself, and I know what I'm doing. I go find. No, you need a community around you to be your eyes, to see your blind side, to guide you, to help you. That is what gives longevity in relationship, and also the growth and legacy you're trying to build for generations. But if you do it by yourself, you're going to be falling every time and think something is wrong with her because she's too old, or and that's not true. It's just because you have not matured yet. And it does take a village to grow you up so that you can become the man or the woman you're supposed to be. And that age stuff is truly nonsense. It's just because it's an excuse to say, oh, here am I, look at me. And really, it doesn't really help anybody.
Don't look at him.
It doesn't help anybody. And if you think you like younger women or whatever you like, that's okay. Keep it to yourself. Respect other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I was when you talk about family and how important that is, I was talking to a gentleman the other day, because when you talk about like just trying to the baggage, right? I was talking to this guy and he was saying that, he got married and it was a bad choice because he has children, she has children, he doesn't get along with her children, he doesn't get along with his children. And I think about all of those things because he's like, well, one day that, they're going to be gone. And I'm like, but your children are always going to be in your life for the rest of your life. Like all of those things, especially when you're of a certain age, all of those things have to like connect. You're not just living for the now and the moment. It ain't like about one individual person. Like you said, Lala, it is about the whole family, the whole community, the elders, all of those things, those faculties have to work in conjunction. And so when you have these surface level conversations about, these women just got to me, too much baggage. Like it's so just surface, and there's no depth to it. And it's not kind of really even worthy of conversation, because it's not even anything that any of us mature women are entertaining. And so for people who are entertaining this bullshit, I feel sorry for you if this is like part of your conversation, because it shows me that you lack depth. Where's your depthness? And that's what we need to have more of. But we're going to talk more about it when we come back from the break.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
Ooh, me miss Gwen. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to this this last video, and I want to get your opinion on it.
The conversation was, well, you're over 40, your market value is so, what the man, we human beings, we are not cars. And that's what I want everybody to understand. You are not a car. You are not a possession. You are a spirit. You are a soul. You are a person. You are unique. You are the only mode of you, period. And there is a person that will appreciate that mode of you. The fact of the matter is that you do not have to devalue people to feel better about yourself. You got 54-year-old men talking about a 40-year-old woman is a leftover woman. Well, what the fuck that make you, my nigga? If you've been divorced twice, you're 54. What the fuck that make you? A leftover nigga? The fact of the matter is you are a person that needs to be treated and valued as such. Period.
Now, this man has had a lot of controversy, but he's speaking
my heart.
Truth. So, Lala, go on and chime in on what this man said.
Sounds like he's done the work in his life, which we all have to do. He's broken the mold, and he's determined to, whatever his struggles are in the other arena, I know he's got this right.
Mhm.
This reminds me, because I know a lot of you guys know I jog and walk at least 5 to 7 miles a day. And on my walks, I'm always listening to something to uplift me or make me feel good or learn something. And this past week, I listened to Charlemagne the God. He's not my favorite person, but his time to walk was absolutely fabulous. He addressed the fact that he definitely he looked up to his father. He loved his father. He ended up cheating on his wife because his father did the same and told him, all men are going to have more than one woman. You should have more women. And he said to himself, I didn't really want to cheat on my wife, but that's what my father told me real men do.
Wow.
So I did it. And so he admitted to the fact that he had done that. He also went to therapy because his wife said, you know, you got a lot of crap rolling around in your head. You need to go to therapy. And he's also well known to talk to other Black men about getting therapy too. But then his father turned around and said to him, I'm so proud of you, because there was many days I wish I would have gone to therapy too. So you see how this cycle must be broken. That's why I think what this gentleman is saying, the video we just watched, is so very true. Anonymous, I know you like to get under my skin. You're not going to get under my skin today. You can continue to talk your craziness if you want to. See, you're part of the problem, my brother. Because for one, you are a coward behind the keyboard. And we're never going to get out of this cycle as long as we have people like you who don't want us to get out of it. So I don't know about y'all, but I vote for healing, and I vote for us at least talking to each other like we're humans and just being real, period.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. And I think that's what we need to come back to. Do you think that when people talk about, use the terms like baggage, that they're disguising maybe fear for maybe emotional accountability, Aisha?
Absolutely. Right. Baggage. Who doesn't have baggage? All of us, no matter even how great our upbringing was, there's always something that we're supposed to be striving to be better from where we were. Better. I'm better today than I was yesterday. So does that mean I'm a baggage person? No, it's just the excuse to call other people carrying baggage is, oh, you have your own baggage too. Like I said, they say, be careful when you, they say, look at the log in your own eye. Try to get the splint in somebody else's eye, right? We all have baggage, and there are different kinds of baggages. So what? It's part of being a human being. You know, and even the Lord said, you know what? You are going to have suffering in this world. You are going to have suffering. It doesn't matter how from it comes in, but you have to understand that. So if you meet a woman that has, actually, I'm a believer, I'm a faith believer, I believe in Jesus Christ. And so now Mary was an example that was married out of wedlock. Now her husband's supposed to take her, and even he was supposed to marry her, he's not married to her yet. So there's baggage already right there. But they accepted the baggage. It doesn't matter how we look at it. So we are going to have something, one thing or the other, that we carry with us. But the beauty is, are we willing to work together? Like, say, you know what? Let's go get the help we need. Let's get counseling. Let's get, support system so that we can really grow out of the old and become a new person, right? And the new person doesn't mean we don't have our past, but we think new things. So, wow, the way I was thinking was wrong. Why should I look at people in such a way? They're not an object. They're people. They have a soul and spirit. How can I treat them differently going forward and not say, oh, they have a baggage, so I don't want to be around them? You have a baggage too. You have a baggage too.
Yeah. Lala, what advice, I guess, would you give to women who are over 35 and they feel discouraged by this type of messaging?
Other people's opinion of you is not your reality. Sis, keep working on yourself. Keep moving forward. Keep pressing forward, because the energy that you put out, it does get attracted back to you. And the minute that you start worrying about not having that partner and focusing on that and focusing on that, the wrong thing is going to start coming to you. Focus on just being yourself. What makes you happy? Your life purpose. I'm working on myself even now. I am going through the artist way right now. I'm learning things about myself that I didn't even want to admit, but I'm improving myself. The more that you improve yourself, the better your life is going to be. And maybe, just maybe, if that person is out there looking for you, you're going to find yourself in the right spaces together to be put together. And that's just the way that it is. Do not get discouraged. You ain't got to have a man. You don't have to. It's a blessing to have one, yes, if you're in it. But don't focus your whole life purpose and not walk in your purpose on finding a man.
Amen. It's a blessing to have a man if he adds value.
Amen.
If he adds value.
Yeah.
Aisha, same question for you. What advice would you give to women over 35 who feel discouraged by this type of messaging?
Yes, number one, you are enough. You're enough. You're valuable. You are worthy. Your spirit, you have a soul, you'll have life, and God has called you and given you your own special gift, and whatever he has for you will come to you. And like Lala said, just be positive, enjoy being it, because sometimes people think because you're single something is wrong with you. No, some people are called to have a single life, and we're supposed to celebrate with them and be there and support them as well. But at the end of the day, just know that you are enough. You don't need to cower or try to be like somebody else or try to worry about other people's thoughts, because you know what, like you say, of that opinion of you, that's their own. It's nothing to do with your reality. So just focus on knowing that you are worthy, you are enough, and anybody that finds you is blessed to have you.
Amen. The Bible says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing. So I want to. So we're going to go to our final thoughts. But here's a question I have for you, and you could answer this as your final thought, or you can add something onto this. But I do want to ask you this: how can we shift the narrative and reclaim what it means to be grown and healed, like a healed woman in today's dating world or just today's society? Like how can we change the narrative in our community, not just for the women or not just for the men, but for the children? What do we do? What can we do, Lala? How do we change the world?
Well, the first thing is putting respect on the family. Listen, whether you've come from a broken home or you don't have two parents in the house, whatever, you still have to understand you still came from a woman. These women that you are putting down are very well the ones that birthed you into this world. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm a POC person. And as you recall, he said, and since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman, and our game from a woman, I wonder why we take from our women. Okay. So it's all about us uplifting one another, no longer wanting to be control over one another. We cannot be the crabs in the barrel. Do not do that, because our communities are dying out. And they will only return to thriving and betterment if we are the ones to take back control. We're already fighting the world. We're already being taken away from, disvalued, always have been in this country. But until we take back our own power and realize that we did come from a powerful kingdom of kings and queens who uplifted one another, nothing will change. Now, I am Laura Lalaki. I have a beautiful class on home ownership coming up on August the 16th. It's a 3-hour course. If you're interested in learning everything that you need to know about buying a home so that you can move forward and build your financial empire, then you should come to that class. You can register for that at I hear Tierra, LauraKey.net. I'm no longer supposed to say www because it shows my age. So
I'm just happy you got rid of the bit.ly. I'm just happy you got rid of the bit.ly and you got a real domain. Listen, Lala told y'all to keep y'all heads up. That was the bottom line, is what she said is, ladies, you got to keep your head up. Good shit, Lala. All right, for you, same question for you, Aisha, and let me bring it back. So what advice would you give to, or how can we shift the narrative and reclaim what's meant to be a grown, healed woman in today's dating world, Aisha?
I really believe that you're enough. You are enough where you are, whatever you're doing. Can we all do better? Yes, we can, including myself. And I just believe that any day, all day, community matters. Community matters. We need our elders. We need all of them. That is why they say it takes a village to raise a child, to have a great family, to have the peace of mind, the protection, and the generational building attitude and legacy building. It takes a village and a community around you to get that done. And then to be reminded that, you know what, you are enough. You are worthy. You are made in the image of and likeness of God. And don't let anybody or anyone tells you that you're missing something because of your age or what is happening. But at the end of the day as well, your spirit and your soul, every day, let's try to be better. Let's find a community that we need to help us grow and to come together. So whatever it is that we need to accomplish, whether it is to find a good partner or to have a great relationship, that we have that community. That is so important that we need that. That is why we're fragmented, because our community and our village is missing. My name is Aisha Virzi. You can find me at the Black Business School as a coach, or you can reach me as well as www.aishavirzi.com.
Man, what an awesome and fulfilling conversation. This is what I just got to say. Y'all, by 35, a lot of women have families, they built careers, and they've healed from heartbreaks. They've actually found their voice, and that's the reason why people like Trick Daddy is not interested in them. It's not baggage, y'all. It's wisdom. And any man that's intimidated by that ain't ready to lead. He's not ready to love. He's not ready to build, because that's what real men do. So my encouragement or my advice to Black women out there is, don't shrink, sis. You have standards. Your standards are not the problem. Your peace is not negotiable. Your purpose, it don't require permission. Because grown women, we don't bring baggage. We bring grown ass things like legacy. We continue to build with our families. We build communities. There's an African proverb that says, when you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach a nation. Women are baggage. We are teaching our nations. We're creating legacies. That's what it's about. So fuck all that silly ass bullshit that this crusty ass ninja is talking about, because that's shallow conversations. What we know to be true, what real grown ass people talk about, are the things that's going to empower our community. And that's what we over here talk about. That's what it's about for us. We just having a whole entertaining conversation about this silly ass shit. Hopefully you've grown from something that you've heard today. And we're going to see you tomorrow. Lala, you on here tomorrow? Aisha, you on here tomorrow? All right. You're going to see Miss Lala tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. We appreciate you. Listen, follow us on Fly Nubian Queen. Make sure you subscribe to Fly Nubian Queen. And then all things Fly Nubian Money. Make sure you subscribe and be on here tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. We appreciate it.